Today we're doing a 7-round NFL mock draft, and I'll be drafting for the Jaguars, Bears, Falcons, Broncos, Texans, and Bills. Doing all their picks through the entirety of the draft. Before we dig in though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing mock drafts leading up to the NFL draft, player analysis before the draft and during the draft to help you learn about these players and what you're getting for your teams. Click that button, stop missing out, but we gotta dig in real quick here. 7 rounds is a lot, and I'm doing 6 teams versus what I usually do is 4. I usually just do a division, but every 5th pick in the first round I'll be doing, and then just doing the rest of the picks for these teams for the rest of the draft. Let's get this started. Titans are on the clock. Here we go. Now we're coming off the board with Cam Ward. Next should be Travis Hunter. Shedeur's probably for the Giants if I know PFF. Yep. And there's a possibility for that. There's a lot of rumor around that. However, they could be smoking us, and it could be Abdul Carter. I'm not agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. If you got conviction, you roll with it. Abdul Carter is the better player, is the better prospect. Patriots got to roll with that because Abdul Carter is right there in your lap. I'm going Mason Graham here. Is a good fit. Top prospect. He's coming off the board. Raiders are now on the clock. Ashton, Jeanty. Playing behind that good offensive line, I think that's a good fit. Will Campbell's a stud offensive tackle. Just fell to the Jets' lap there. Janae Barron's a good cornerback going to the Panthers. That's a pick that could go wide receiver. That's a pick with the Panthers. There could be a trade in that area or a sneaky selection happening. Mbapwu going to the Saints. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. Now I'm up with the Bears. And what I'm looking at here is I can go Walter Nolan and just get a nasty interior defensive lineman, or I can go Tyler Warren. And Nolan's been climbing up the board. Warren could be a difference maker for the offense. I could also go tight end later. I think Walter Nolan could be a big threat for this team, and they're talking him up a lot. I can also go edge. I can do a lot of different things. The sexy pick is Tyler Warren right now because he would help out the Bears. But if I go Walter Nolan, who usually falls in these drafts, he's ranked 8th, but I have him high. I've been higher than PFF this whole time until they're at right now. I like him a lot. Like, he'd help. I also want to see if Tyler Warren, where he would fall to if I selected Walter Nolan, so we're going to do that. I'm not trying to guess the draft. 2, I want to see how Simulator runs things. Tyler Warren going to the 49ers. That's an interesting selection with Kittle there. However, long-term, that might be the thing. T-Max getting mocked to the Cowboys a lot. Jack Campbell now falls to the Dolphins. Matthew Golden to the Colts, which I do not believe is a great fit, considering they got a lot of talent at wide receiver. They're trying to shake things up with the quarterback spot. Spent a second-rounder at a wide receiver last year. Now we're on the clock with the Falcons. Edge is a position of need. We got Will Johnson looking at us, who's a top 10 player. And wide receiver's also a position we're looking at, but we're kind of cool with Drake London and with what we got. So edge, Mike Green is there. Going down here, we got James Pierce. And then going down a little bit further, Nick Scorton. And then Michael Williams. I believe Michael Williams could be staying in Georgia, staying around the Atlanta area. Let's do that. That could be the pick for them. Now we're going with the Cardinals. Will Johnson coming off the board. You can't let him fall any further. He's too good. Jalen Walker, linebacker, going to the Bengals. That's kind of a fit. Shamar Stewart, edge. Seattle, Mike Green, nasty edge, high motor, going to the Bucks. Now I'm on the clock here with the Broncos. There's a lot of talent looking at us. Running back, something we could think about. Wide receiver too. And honestly, we got that rookie quarterback. He's been doing good, better than expected. Better than what a lot of people expect. Let's get some weapons around him. I think Luther Burden is a good fit for him. Short to intermediate, can stretch it deep a bit. We saw that coming out of high school. I think that's a good fit for Bo Nix. We're going to pull the trigger there. Steelers are up. Josh Simmons getting that stud offensive tackle. Good discount on him due to the knee injury. I like Donnie E a lot. Going to the Chargers, and Mika Ibuka going to the Packers. I am up now with the Texans, and I feel like keeping Stroud upright is a huge issue here. And there's some tackles to look at. It's between Banks and Zabel down here. But I like Banks more. I think he's got more upside. I think Zabel's a player, though, who's going to be steady, and he's going to be on your team for a long time. I think Banks got a little bit more upside. I'm going to go with that. Keep him in Texas. Rams are up. Starks. I mean, he's like a top 10, top 12 player. Booker is a nasty guard. I think that's a great selection for the Ravens. Pierce coming off the board to the Lions, and Marion Hampton to the Commanders. With what they got at running back, that's a huge upgrade for them. Now I'm up with the Buffalo Bills. Edge, linebacker, cornerback. So let's look at edge here real quick. We got Nick Scorton. I'm not too in love with him. And then that's about it. That's about it. Scorton's a fringe first rounder, second round, so it's fine to pull the trigger here. Cornerback Trey Amos. A little bit of a reach here, but I would not be surprised if we do Trey Amos here. Gray's able. You can play a guard, tackle, move him around. More for interior, but also for the outside. Colston Loveland's the swing for the fence pick. If I don't pick him, I bet the Chiefs do. Norman Lott, not too in love with him. Trey Amos is my guy here. Let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. Chiefs go Gray's able. Colston Loveland to the Eagles. Could definitely see that happening. Considering the injuries they've had at tight end. They can double up at tight end while he's developing to the NFL game. Scorton to the Titans. Derek Harmon to the Giants. I'm up with the Jaguars here. Their second round selection. Their next pick is 70th overall. Like third round range. Tight end. I don't know right now. I don't think it's time to go to the third tight end off the board. Safety could be interesting here with Kevin Winston. I do like him a lot. Defensive line, I've already went. Wide receiver, Alec Aomanor. Actually, that would be a good fit with what they got. Short to intermediate. He's got size. Thomas Jr. stretching it. That would actually be a good fit with what they have. Jaden Higgins, too. Let's go with Aomanor for the Jaguars. Let's do that. Raiders are up. Darius Alexander. Josh Connolly going to the Patriots. Bears are up. We have two selections. In the second round, we went Walter Nolan. Running back, defensive line, I feel like. And safety, we have Kevin Winston there. We have Xavier Watts. And Saints in between us. Running back, who do you like? There's Caleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins. Those are my 2s and 3s. Johnson's my 2. Quinshon Judkins my 3. And wait, Marion Hampton's up there as my 3. Judkins my 4. Trevion Henderson's in there. They're all my tier A. If you watch my running back rankings, I'll have a redo up before the draft with more running backs in it. I think Caleb Johnson would be a good fit with this team. I think he'd be a good fit. Him and Quinshon Judkins. I think those two are good backs to go with this team. I think the Saints could thin this out for us potentially here. Let's go back to the overall. And I feel like Xavier Watts, considering we're in Chicago and Notre Dame where it's located, that could be the pick for them. Patching up safety. TJ Sanders off the board. And honestly, today, I am feeling Quinshon Judkins, but I'm going to go Caleb Johnson to the Bears. Caleb Johnson to the Bears. So we got stud safety, stud running back, Jackson Dart just to the Jets. Cowboys are up. Their second pick, Jack Betch. I'm not in too love with him. I think he'd be an alright role player for this NFL team. Now I'm up with the Falcons. Our last pick here was Michael Williams. Good edge. Linebackers, what we're looking at as our next pick. Demetrius Knight's right here. We got Swessinger. Demetrius Knight going to the Falcons. I think that's a good selection to fit that need. I think that is. I think he's all right in this area. Landon Jackson, Donovan Jackson off the board. Bengals are up. Princely's off the board. Seattle's up. Swinson's up off the board to Seattle. Now I'm back up with the Broncos. Luther Burden was my first pick. Running back, wide receiver. Going to look at the running backs here. And I'm going Quinshon Judkins to the Broncos. He can be their all-purpose back. He can be their stud. Maxwell Hairston off the board to Seattle. Revel off the board to the Bucks. That's a good fit. Jaden Higgins is a good fit to the Packers. I think they might have doubled up a wide receiver. That happens with the simulator, guys. That just happens. I can't control that. I tried to, but I can't. Trey Amos, cornerback to the Bills so far in the first round. Kevin Winston's there. I think edge has lightened up a bit. There's a drop-off there. Linebacker, we got Swissinger. He's the second-round talent. Going to the Bills. Good fit there. Restrepo going in the second round after he failed the combine. Now I'm back up with the Texans. Wide receiver, offensive line. I get it. Looking at what's available. Second round running back in this draft. You can kind of wait on it, or you can make your selection. I think I can wait a little bit there. The reason why I'm thinking about that is because you're not going to have Mixon forever. You're not going to have him. Looking at what's available, Norman Lott's there as a value. Winston's there as a value. Benjamin Morrison's there as a value. Just looking at all that. Thinking of needs here, also versus value and situation. Just going on down a little bit more. I like Tate Ratledge a lot. There. Pick 79 if he's still there, for sure. But he's not going to be there. I like Ratledge a lot. I would not be surprised if he goes in the second round. This is a tough selection. This is a tough selection to make here. Because I can keep slamming tackle. Offensive line here. Like Ratledge just stands out with me a lot right now. Josiah Stewart a little bit later. Shamar Turner a little bit later. Just looking at what's available on the board. Winston Jr., Norman Lott. And also going running back and just getting the future there. Dylan Sampson's there. Elijah Arroyo there. Getting some athleticism there at tight end. I'm going to go Norman Lott just to get the selection in for the long term. Just taking the value that came to me. Jack Sawyer coming off the board to the Ravens. Cam Scatteraboo to the Lions. They're not going another running back unless they don't want Dave Montgomery there forever. If they go running back in the second, there's going to be a trade with Montgomery later or something like that. Travion Henderson to the Commanders, and that's not guessing. That's like if that happened, that's the only way that could make sense. Bills are up. I went Trey Amos, Carson Swinsinger. We went defense heavy so far. Edge, linebacker, cornerback, linebacker. Edge is dried up. That's the thing. We could go Benjamin Morrison, just double up a cornerback. That would be still a tremendous value. Huge value, and he's one of my guys. We're going to go Jared Ivey from Ole Miss. Just getting an edge. Second round. Tackle from Minnesota going to the Chiefs. Darren Porter going to the Eagles. Who's winning this draft so far? Pretty much got a good idea right now with the first two picks. Kyle Kennard off the board. Jalen Milroe. Dylan Sampson to the Raiders. Benjamin Morrison to the Pats. Now I'm up with the Jaguars. So far, so good. Very sexy draft. We're just going to have to take the value with Kevin Winston and run with it. We have to. That's probably going to happen for the Jaguars in some of these picks. Josiah Stewart off the board. I'm up here with the Bears. Bears are up. Nolan, Watts, Caleb Johnson. Ooh, we're looking good there. Nolan, Watts, Caleb Johnson, future starters. Looking here. Ratledge is there, just getting youth on the interior offensive line. Just taking that value, too. I think that's a great value. Just getting youth there. Even though we patched it up in free agency, we're keeping Caleb upright. If something happens to one of those vets, we got him there. Third rounder. Developmental prospect. Alfred Collins going to the Cowboys. That's a great pick. Patriots go tackle. Now I'm up with the Texans. I just zapped one of their selections with my last pick by myself. I hurt myself. Interior offensive line, Jared Wilson, Seth McLaughlin. Also going to put them at guard if I want to. Willie Lampkin. They're not too far off where I should be. Tackle. We got some value plays here. We got some guys. I like Cameron Williams We're picking at 89, so I can think tackle or one of those guys. I can also go depth. I can play around a little bit. Tackle, defensive line. I think I'm going to go. Oh, Trey Harris is there as well. RJ Harvey's there. Looking at running back. Harvey, Martinez, Giddens. Now, if I want to get a running back for the future, that's something I might think about. I might think about that around 166, but none of these running backs are going to be there. Like, there's going to be a huge drop-off. I'm either have to get running back with these next 2 picks if I want to make that choice, or maybe ignore it. And Mixon ain't going to be around forever, and I don't want to rely on free agency. And this is one of the best running back classes of all time. We're right in the meat of it. We got Martinez, Harvey, Giddens. Giddens and Harvey and Martinez, those 3 are my guys. I also like Devin Neal. Those 4 running backs that we're looking at right now, that's the creme de la creme of that middle portion of the draft. I'm going to go Harvey for the Texans. Just getting that option in the 3rd round. Mason Taylor to the Colts. Chris Paul to the Bengals. Seattle's up. Going Roberts. Edge. SMU. Tackle from Purdue. Going to the Steelers. They're doubling up at tackle. That's fine. We're in the 3rd round, too. A lot of these guys can be developmental. Burden, Judkins. Been a sexy draft. Been a very sexy draft. Honestly, Trey Harris is there. That could be a huge help. Jalen Noel creates separation like no other. That would be a huge get for them. Jared Wilson is probably the selection. It's probably the selection considering. Yep, we're going Jared Wilson. We're going Jared Wilson to the Broncos. Can't keep it sexy the whole draft. Joshua Farmer, defensive line. Trey Harris to the Packers. They're doubling up or tripling up a wide receiver, right? They drafted 3 wide receivers. Jaguars are up. Followed by the Texans. Winston. A good draft so far. Guys I like. They drafted Winston and a safety I likes right there. I can't do it. Kyle Williams is there. However, did I go wide receiver? Yeah, I already did. Running back is a possibility here. Huge possibility. ETN averaged 3.9 yards per carry. Both running backs had injury spells. Huge possibility. Already went defensive line. Already went safety, tight end. Something to think about here. Talented class. Bannon, Gunnar Helm. Kind of missed the boat on the tight ends that I liked in this range. We got Martinez. This is what the draft is. Like, if when in doubt, go running back. Martinez, Giddens, Devin Neal. I feel like since I'm the Jaguars, I'm in Florida, I feel like you got a good pulse on Damian Martinez if I'm them. Like, I feel like that's what they would do. And I like him. I like Giddens a little better. I just feel like if I was them, that's what I would do. So I'm going to just make that my tier breaker. 89 overall, 3rd round here. My second 3rd round pick for the Texans. And like I said, I want to come here, look at tackle. I have 2 tackles that I like. I could do that. I could go interior. And it's down the board a little bit. I could go interior a little bit later if Willie Lampkin's there. Still on the clock when I pick next. That's what I'm doing. And I'll probably trade up. I like Cameron Williams. I think that's a talent that you just can't pass on. 2 Texas tackles going to the Texans. That's all right. Jalen Noel going to the Ravens. That's a fit. Might not be great for fantasy, but that's a fit. DJ Giddens going to the Browns. I think that's optimal for him. I think he's going to get a lot of workload there. Savion Williams to the Eagles. Lathan Ransom, safety, Ohio State to the Vikings. Niners up. Walker, Central State, edge. Harold Fanning to the Rams. Finishing out day 2, Tez Johnson to the Lions. Man, he fell to the 4th. Devin Neal to the Browns, doubling up at running back, double tapping the position, something a team's going to do. Dorian Strong, Isaiah Bond to the Patriots. I'm up with the Jaguars now. Kyle Williams has fell to day 3. You're getting a slot there. And honestly, this is a good chance to rejuvenate this passing game. A good shot. Looking at other positions, I don't want to double tap safety in this draft. I don't want to do that. I could go offensive line. I could do this, that. Tight end's a little weak. I think Kyle Williams in the 4th round to the Jaguars. I have 2 good outside wide receivers now. The A.O. Manor and Brian Thomas Jr. I need to get twitched up in the slot. And this could overhaul the passing game a lot because it wasn't getting done. Parker Washington's not a stud. Kyle Williams is great for the slot. He's very twitched up. This team needs it. There we go. Raiders up. Deion Walker, defensive line, Kentucky. I'm back up with the Bills. My last picks, linebacker, cornerback, edge. Has not been a sexy draft. Bills are up. Can we get sexy? Jaden Blue. Let's look at the running backs that are available. We kind of missed that tier. And we're not going to go running back here today, which is a possibility with the James Cook contract. So one thing we could look at here, this is not a sexy part of the draft. Wide receivers kind of tapped out. I am going to go defensive line, Caldwell from Oregon. Just throwing that off the board. Jets, Sebastian Castro. One of my guys. I like him. Rucker, edge, North Carolina to the Panthers. Edge, UCLA to the Saints. Panthers are up. July, edge. Defensive line, Peebles. Cards. Baza, linebacker. Dolphins. Sanker, safety to the Colts. I'm up here. I think I got an idea of what I'm going to do. Edge, linebacker, filling positions of need so far. Tier offensive line. Seth McLaughlin here. Going to the Atlanta Falcons. Bengals are up. Going Robinson, edge. Sorrell, edge. Titans. Kobe Bryant, cornerback to the Bucks. Now I'm back up here with the Broncos. My last pick was Jared Wilson. 4th round, we can go back up here. We can look at another spot. We already went running back. Running back's kind of tiered off a little bit. If I want to go defense and I want to go for a guy that can give us some good depth here, I'm going down a little bit just to see what we got. Looking for some good depth here. Looking for something. If I was doing that and going depth, I would be thinking cornerback or linebacker. A linebacker that can be moved around a little bit. And I'm thinking corner. Noel Williams is there. Who's a guy that I like. And honestly, I think we're going to reach a little bit. I think we can do that. Barrett Carter, come on down. Barrett Carter, come on down. And this is just filling depth. We're going to play all the positions of linebacker, move them around. We're going to fill some spots. Jaguars are up. 4th round. Kyle Williams, Damian Martinez. A sexy draft so far. Sexy draft here. We have already went safety in the 3rd round. Mickens is there. That's the thing that I was looking at. We already went running back. Just going down to, I see something that intrigues me. Already went safety. Ben Urisex there. There we go. We're getting our tight end. We're getting a tight end in the 4th. Developmental tight end, but still. We'll figure it out. Jalen Rivers coming off the board. Noel Williams coming off the board. Willie Lampkin going to the Ravens. 2 guards in this class, but it's actually kind of smart because when you move on from Derrick Henry, you're going to be able to move on. Bills are up. Not a sexy class, defense heavy. We're going to keep it defense heavy because Mickens has been falling. I like him. There we go. Mickens, safety, Clemson going to the Bills. Crenshaw, Dixon. I think this is the 3rd tackle by the Chiefs. Horton, wide receivers to the Eagles. Zy Alexander. Seattle's on the clock. Jaden Blue, 4.3 speed. Big time prospect coming out of high school. Vikings go, Basil Tootin. Speed back that can grind it between the tackles. That's a solid get. Jack Kaiser, I like him a lot. Jags are back up. Last time we went tight end. Looking at what we got here, we got an edge. Right, Leonard. Cameron Jackson. Want to look here. Did we go defensive line yet? We went late. We went early, I mean. So now that I'm thinking about Tyler Batty, we're going to get an edge here from BYU. Raiders are up. Boom. Riley Mills. Defensive line. Rashard Smith to the Pats. Getting a pass catching back. Riley Leonard to the Panthers. Backup QBs are coming off the board now. Now I'm up with the Bears. And it's been a meat and potatoes draft, but it has been a little sexy. We did not get a pick in the 4th round. What could we add to this team to shake things up? What could we add? I am rolling with Cameron Jackson. Going to the Bears. The Bears. We're in the 5th round. We're getting depth. We're adding to that. And I made their draft a little bit different compared to a lot of people's drafts. I watched their drafts a lot. Get posted on Twitter. And I kind of just twisted it a little bit. Give you a little different look. Like I wanted to go Warren in that first pick and I didn't. I just didn't. Just because I wanted something different. I like Walter Nolan a lot. And it may not be a reach. That guy, he's twitched up. He's going to go high. Kobe Hudson. RJ Oben. Khalil Mullins. Isaac Tesla. Jake Bringstall. Eagles are up. Nick Nash. They're up again. Now I'm on the clock with the Texans here. Things don't matter as much. My picks. Boom. Cameron Williams, 2 Texas tackles. Let's stay away from the state of Texas. Looking at what I like Hancock. I like Hancock. That's one of my guys. Jordan Hancock from Ohio State. Come on down. We don't need it. We're looking for depth here. Depth. Depth. Talent falls your way. Kobe King's another guy I would have looked at. I'm going after talent. Bills are up. First off, our last pick was RJ Mickens, so I'm not doubling up a safety. Looking at positions that require. Also looking at players that fell that I like. Lost safeties in the back end of the draft. Connor Colby, come on down. And then my next pick, I'm looking at Cody Simon, come on down. I like both those players, meat and potato players. I think they could be fits. I think they can be good backups. I'm just going after my guys and scrolling down. Bills are back up. And coming down here, looking for more of my guys. And as long as they're not the safety position, I feel like I just spent too much on that. Denzel Burke, I'm down a little ways. So I had an idea. And where is he at? Dylan Fairchild going guard. Going guard. Cowboys are up. Joyner, edge, Minnesota. Hawes to Seattle. Stout. Back on the clock with the Bills. Going to be looking at some value here. Kyle McCord. Just keeping him in New York. Just keeping him in New York as a backup. Developmental backup in the 6th round. I think that's a good value. Just keep him in New York. Why not? Maybe I can develop him and trade him. Jaguars are on the clock now. I just want to make sure I don't draft the same position too much. No, I think I'm fine to do this. I'm going to go Ty Robinson. Just get a developmental prospect for the back end of the depth chart. Someone to give some breathers. Denzel Burke coming off the board. One of my guys. Marcus Yarns. Halfback, running back to Steelers. Hemingway off the board to the Jets. Stutzman, linebacker. Emory Jones to the Rams. Now it's time for the Broncos. And we've been looking pretty solid. Very solid first couple picks. Mumfield was balling out in the start of his collegiate career. That's one thing you can say. Elijah Badger's a sleeper. Just looking at what's available. Defensive line. What's their defensive line? Tim Smith. Let's roll with it. Let's go with the Alabama pedigree. I'm back up with the Jaguars here next couple picks after the Bengals. Here we go. I went Winston in the, third round. I think I'm safe to go Jalen Reed, who fell to me here. Go with another Penn State safety. Another head scratcher for the Jaguars fans, but it's a 6th rounder. He's just going to be fighting for a spot on the depth chart anyways. 6th round here, 2 picks in the 6th round. Pretty close together. Linebacker, defensive line, been pretty straightforward there. Let's see if we can get some depth at wide receiver here. Someone to fight for the depth chart. And I'm going to go with Ricky White. He's one of my guys. I think that's a good fit. I think he's more talented than he is the 6th round. I think he should be like 3rd or 4th round. And I'm planting that flag there with the Broncos. And they're looking to upgrade at wide receiver. They're looking to add depth. I think that's a good spot for them. Now we're here, letting these picks come off the board. I should be picking soon with the Bills, looks like. Jordan James comes off the board. A productive running back. 1,500 yards last year. Double-digit touchdowns. Bills. Last pick. We're going running back. Let's see. Woody Marks. Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon coming off the board to the Bills. There's a threat. Ollie Gordon's like a 3rd or 4th round talent. Maybe even more. That's how deep this running back class is. Broncos are back up. Let's get our second running back. Woody Marks, LaQuinn Allen. Woody Marks. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's rejuvenate this backfield. There we go. You get a running back. You get a running back. You get a running back. That's 6th round. Why not? When you got like 3rd and 4th round talents there. Why not? I mean, those guys would be one of the top running backs drafted in last year's class. Like, put them up against Lloyd. Put them up against Blake Corum. They're not too far off. Now I'm back up with the Falcons. I feel like it's been a long time since I picked with them. It has been since the 4th round. I got 2 7th round picks here. And honestly, let's just look at talent and positions that I can double up on. Edge is a position of need here, but there's no one really like catching my eye. Nobody that's catching my eye. Jay Higgins is one of my dudes. We're going with that. To the Falcons. Cam Horsley. Just getting depth. If it's a position of need, then you also would like the depth. Looking at the Jaguars, we can really do whatever. Have we went running back yet? We went Damian Martinez. What's that running back? We're going Rocket Sanders. We're just going to take advantage of what he did at Arkansas. He did okay at South Carolina. I think he's an underrated running back. I think he's great in the 7th round to whoever drafts him. I think that's a great slot for him. Next up for me would be the Bears, and that's down a few picks, 233. So we're watching players run off the board here. Brady Cook to the Dolphins. Holland Pierce, tackle to the 49ers. Elijah Clark to the Steelers. The Bears are back up, though. What would the Bears do? What could the Bears do here? I bet you... Ooh. We have not went fun at all in this draft. We could go fun today. Everybody gets a running back. Everybody gets a running back. Let's get them. Montrell Johnson. He's good between the tackles. Let's get him some opportunity. Let's let him fight on the depth chart. Let's switch things up. Now we're looking at the Texans. They've gotten their running back in the 3rd round. I'm not doing that to them again. Looking at wide receiver. Now, we've had some issues here in the slot. We've had a wide receiver coming over. Christian Kirk, who's had an injury history. Tank Dell's dealing with a huge injury. I think Jimmy Horn, just as depth for the slot. Depth. I think you're going to need that. He's very twitched up. Let him fight and compete. Push everybody else up the roster. Bada bing, bada boom. Looking at what's there, I like Malachi Moore. I think we've drafted one safety, but I think just getting more talent is fine. Just getting more talent is fine. Texans are up. We just went wide receiver with them. Jalen Travis, I've been looking at him for a lot of other picks. I'm just pulling the trigger there. Just getting more talent at the tackle spot. We drafted 3 tackles in this draft. 7th rounders don't usually make the team. A lot of them do. A lot of them don't. Just want to do it. Just want to do it, and I can move them around too. Falcons are up. This is what we're doing here. Not super sexy. Now we're looking for depth. Anybody here that catches my eye as someone who should not be down this far that could help the Falcons? Did I call them Texans or Falcons? I don't know. I don't remember. Phil Maffa's there. It's pretty dry. I like Seth Hennigan. We might be trading our quarterback, our other quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Bam. Just getting a developmental backup just in case Penix does not do well or gets hurt. I got something long-term to build with. It's 7th round. He'll just be sitting on the back of the depth chart. Why not? And now we're seeing what comes off the board. LeJohntay Wester to the Cowboys. That's a good slot for them. That's actually a good pick. He broke out with 2 different collegiate programs. He's not going to fall to the 7th. I think an NFL team's going to pull the trigger around the 4th round on him. He's not going to fall that far in the draft. I bet you LeJohntay Wester doesn't fall that far in the draft. Let me know in the comment section right now if you're still with me. Just put a star in the comment section or something. Put your favorite emoji right now in the comment section if you're still with me. There it is. There's the draft. I earned another trophy. I probably did like 50 mocks. But there we go. There we go. A lot of picks off the board. 7-round mock draft. Let me know how I did. I had some weird picks that I made, but I tried to make things a little different too. Like I'm mocking all the time. I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes while also trying to make the picks I want to make. Let me know what you think though in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.